messed up, right? But not quite. Alright. Yes. I think we're here now. Man, I'm stuck to mobile live streaming. Is it right? Okay. There we go. Oh. Is it now or? Alright, so I think I'm live now. Let me just delete that. Okay, alright. I think I'm okay now. No problems with my audio? Alright. Let me just listen to the race again. Let's see if the race have that. It has that kind of like DSP. And probably that's why it's a little bit weak, huh? Okay. So the moondrop race, it's basically just the May, I guess. If you know the moondrop May. But what's interesting in this here, it's more directed to gaming in a way that it has a web app feature. So you can do the settings not through an Android app, but just through a web app, like your basic browser. I saw Super Reviews review. I did that too. But then again, I can't really verify it because I don't play FPS games anymore. I do play games every day, but it's Mobile Legends, and you don't really need a lot of audio with it. So, 残念. So this is the box. Let me just, because it has another cable to set up the custom EQ with the moondrop May. But I think you can also change the from the default EQ. I think you can also change it from the moondrop app. You didn't see anything. I take people into dive water and discover themselves. I don't have any idea what you're talking about, dude. Oh my god. Where's that? I feel like every time I live stream... Oh, yeah, I have a good one too. I feel like YouTube's like... sending, recommending my live stream to different random people. I don't know. I don't even know if you're subscribed. I don't even know if you guys know my channel. Because, like, during my live stream, there's only, like, very few regular people joining in. I can count them, but I'd really appreciate some, like, people who are into audio. Like, I'm looking for something. What? Where is that? Where did that go? Oh, is it? Oh, yeah, okay, it's this one here. Man. Yeah, I don't know too. I mean, it's good. It's, part of YouTube's algorithm. I'm just a small YouTuber. I do this every weekend when I wake up in the morning and talk about audio stuff. I review audio related products. Um, so new people might not really understand what I'm talking about. But yeah, it's mostly about IEMs and earbuds and stuff like that. Right. So, gaming. Oh my god. Let's see here. This is a thick cable though. So I was wondering if I can measure it from here. I'll do that later. I'll do my second. The thing about moondrop rays is it has a very, very big nozzle. I mean, like, it's not a problem, right? Oh, you need earbuds for work? You mean like because in audio we have what we call earbuds that look like this one here, like they're not really in ears. We This is what we call earbuds because you just like that. I like this. I use it every day because I can hear ambient noise, what's going on outside. Um and usually I review wired ones. So I know a lot of people want like Bluetooth or something, but there's a niche in the hobby that just likes it wired. um, and there's a big group on Facebook that talks about in-ear monitors. So that's what IMs are, in-ear monitors. Okay, so I'm able to put that in. So in-ear monitors are basically just, yeah, exactly. So there are a bunch of options for wired and different use case. There are a lot of reviewers on that, like even for gaming and stuff. And I don't know, they really don't cross paths. Like I feel like the wireless reviewers and the wired reviewers don't really cross paths. It seems like if it's because the wired reviewers, they're more focused on the nerdy stuff like the frequency graph and how it measures and stuff like that. um, Wireless reviewers, they're more focused on practicality, latency, stuff like that, all technical aspects and practicality of the product. And it seems like wired reviewers, they only recommend a few wireless earphones like Apple or Samsung. But I think there are a lot of good sounding sets, like wireless sets. It's just that, again, like there's this debate on like the codec and wireless is very limited to Bluetooth and man, like for me, I don't really mind. I don't really mind LDAC or something like that. Just people want it wired. I don't really consider myself as an audiophile because I don't know. I just don't like the. I don't like the. It's not a responsibility, but it's more of like I don't like. Um, it's not even prejudice, but it seems like being an audiophile is like you're really focused on like the nerdy stuff. But I play music. I used to play drums. Um, but it just doesn't match the description of sound that I am used to. And it seems like audiophile terms are more directed to the studio stuff, like the frequency graph and stuff like that. As a musician, I focus more on like timbre and how instruments sound in real life. at least for me. Yeah, and a lot. I mean, like if you go deep into the hobby, you're gonna discover a lot of people, reviewers that have different opinions on audio. All right, moondrop race. Let's see. Yeah. It sounds clean. The moondrop May sounds clean. No, not May. I'm sorry, race. Yeah, it sounds okay. It's a 1DD and I think a planar unit. It's a little bit subdued on the treble, on in the default tuning because on analog you do get a little bit of, mm, not really clarity. Yeah, a little bit of elevated treble in there. Um, what I'm really surprised though is the aful polar night. All right. Aful polar night. It's really good for an earbud, but man, it's how much is this? It's Polar Night. I think it's $179. Um, it's cheaper than the Ceratus. I do have the TGX ear Ceratus. Okay, it's from a maker. TGX ear, right? Um, no, it's not available anymore. Oh man, look at that! Like, he, man, like, like expensive earbuds. He has expensive earbuds here. But I got the Ceratus. They're good. They're like, I don't know the frequency. I don't measure earbuds, but the Polar Night is just, that treble implementation of the Polar Night. It's so realistic. And the vocal presentation, it's really nice, especially for females. So if you want like a decent, um, like end game earbud, it's probably the Aful Polar Night. It's just so good, man. Like the naturalness is. I mean, I'd probably choose this over headphones and IMs to some extent. Because I'm an earbud user, anyhow. Like every night when I go to sleep, I use earbud. Um, Only because like I can talk to people, I can talk to my wife, because I can hear them. Um, and surprisingly, the Polar Night actually, a lot of people say that it's not detailed, like earbuds are not detailed into treble because the sound leaks. I digress. I disagree. Um, it's it sounds more detailed compared to other IMs. Like even IMs that are more expensive. Man, it's just so realistic. The vocals are just so realistic. With the Polar Night. Yeah, yeah, it's if you're a bass head, it's probably not earbuds are probably not for you. But I'm not a bass head to begin with. I mean, I like bass. But even in my target, I don't put a lot of bass in my target. Probably because I'm a drummer, I'm like, I know what bass sounds like, and I probably got so sick of it. So I'm more of a like a mid-centric guy. I want my bass to be just enough. I mean, like even with the tiniest bass, it's probably because of that, like with playing drums, too much bass doesn't really help when I'm, you know, practicing. I want the bass to be fast because, catching those um, double pads are. Yeah, it's good. It's really good. And for the price of what is it? Aful Polar Night. Let's see. 180 bucks, yeah. Okay, let's watch Awesome Dan. I really want to do live stream on my PC so that I can share my screen. But yeah, I'm gonna watch Danny's
Hey, awesome friends. I am
review.
Awesome Danny. Welcome back to the channel. Across my desk, that April, the one that makes buy it. If you don't like, maybe watch this. Thank you guys for making this video. I don't know, 4 times for there. But before that number, I think we looking flat. It also gets,
Let's
but
skip
the
the
cable itself is
unboxing.
something that's in your ear during use. You don't want it to be tugging on them too much, and you also don't want them to be like pushing up on them. Like if the cable's kind of stiff, any little bit of leverage will push the earbud up and then out. You get a few sets of donut foams, vents, and there's a few. So the stem itself, since it is metal,
Let's see.
there are ear hooks, the stability to the earbuds themselves. One thing though, since I use ear hooks, those rubber ear hooks with a lot of my flatheads, it does not work with these earbuds. They have vents on the top end of the bud, so
Mm-hmm.
when you put the ear hooks in and they're pushing up against the top end of the bud, they actually block those vents and it kills the bass. Build itself,
Okay,
fine.
that makes
All
sense
right, let's go ahead
because
and get
those vents in here, they do make the bass a little bit fuller. They sound fuller.
into some sound impressions. Here's the graph.
I'm
Top
watching
a few thoughts. There
Danny's
is no graph.
review.
I don't have one of those weird
So I'm
earbuds.
reviewing
So
the
the overall
review.
experience of the set, I would consider pretty balanced,
It
but
is
there is a little
balanced.
bit of a bass boost. It's weird. The presentation is not.
Yeah, it's probably different for different people. I don't maybe because I've tried the TGX ear Serratus, I do find that one bassier. The bass on that just hits harder with the Aful Polar Night. It's I think there's a good balance on bass. It's colored. It's not neutral of any sort. It's colored. Um, of course, you don't get sub bass with earbuds, but yeah.
Not like the usual bass presentation on flathead.
But yes, he's right. It's not the usual bass presentation on flatheads or earbuds. It's definitely closer to. It's close. Not IM's close, but kind of like
Earbuds,
middle of
you go ahead and
earbuds
get
and
it.
IMs.
So bass is great. It's really fun. It doesn't extend forever compared to something like the EBX, but there's a good amount of it. And the bass itself kind of has its own identity. It doesn't really blur into everything else. The one thing that I always experience with flatheads, when there's any amount of bass, like focus, or a good amount of bass to make up for the transducer,
Uh huh.
style, since you get a good amount of leak, sometimes you want to bring that up in order to prevent the signature from being too you know, weak and anemic. It ends up kind of blurring into the mid range, veiling a lot of the signature. You don't get that with these.
Yeah, you don't get that with
Bass
the
is its
Polar
own
Night.
thing. It doesn't feel completely separated,
The
but it has its
the
own.
mid range is so open with the Polar Night. It's just it almost feels like you're listening to a speaker or music is played in front of you, if that makes sense.
Identity, and that gives it a bit of a, you know, cleaner presentation, but it doesn't get sterile. It's very unique in that regard. For example, in the next episode by Dr. Dre, bass is very simplistic in that song. That track is just a very simple, straightforward presentation. It's not, you know, busy. It's not complex. It's just bass, but there is layers to that bass, and you can follow each of those layers, each level on this set with no problem. Doesn't feel like little
Okay.
pieces. Even on the airier side, slightly pushed forward and more intensity on the female vocals.
Uh
Mid
huh.
range is full, not on the usual flathead, and without getting too piercing. Main takeaway here was green just keeps that lower mid range still well defined without it smearing. Even hold on to that bite aggressively. It's that good middle ground. It's a very there's a lot of symbols in that track, and there's a good amount of shimmer. It
Yeah.
keeps that grit, that
The
texture,
timbral accuracy
without
on
getting too.
cymbals on the Polar Night is great. I mean, like, for me, cymbals make or break an earphone, an earbud, an IM, or a headphone. I just, I just know what. Maybe because I play drums, and it annoys me when it's represented wrong. Because I've heard it so many times. Like I know how I could even tell the diameter and probably the brand too. It's because when you're there, like practicing a track, of course you don't want to copy every hit or cymbal hit, but you just want to know how an artist or a drummer creates his own signature. Like does he do hi hats a lot and rides and like the combinations and stuff. So like even with the rides, like earphones, sometimes when they're really boosted in the upper treble, the ride cymbals almost sound like hi hats, like and like when you're a beginner practicing drummer, you're gonna think that like you're gonna do the hi hats, but it's just the ride. It changes the timbre on cymbals when there is a significant boost in the treble. Planers do that. They don't sound natural, and a lot of people seem to like the kind of presentation. I don't, I don't. Yeah, it's their it's their enjoyment. They like that kind of presentation. I mean, I used to like that kind of presentation because it was kind of like new, not really new, but it was different. But the more I tried different IMs, hundreds of IMs, I just go back to what I used to know on like how instrument sounds. I just trust my ears on that. And I realized that I actually don't like a lot of treble. I mean, like when I started in the hobby, I started with heart mirror. Any one of you guys know the HE sound heart mirror? Let's see. Do I have the heart mirror? Yep, there we go. Um, no, it actually does not have a lot of treble. It's just bass light. Um, yeah, the heart mirror is nice. I like this set a lot. Um, there's an 8 key peak in there. I really like the heart mirror. Oh, let's continue with
Too
Danny's.
shimmery, splashy, or fatigue. Also, the set is surprisingly detailed. You get a lot.
Exactly. This one here is so detailed. Now my trust track for details is always Matchbox 20, um, Unwell. Okay. Matchbox 20 Unwell. You're gonna start hearing, you know, the drums and the instruments, strings, and from there, like
But
even
those little nuance of depth.
first few seconds, you're gonna notice if a cymbal sound correct. And then, and he starts singing around like 25 seconds all day, blah blah. Making friends with shadows on my wall. So he said like friends with shadows on my wall, and he pauses, and after that there are three drumstick counts. How do I know? A lot of IAMs don't seem to um, really reveal those details. Um, Sometimes they're blurred. Sometimes they're too forward that you hear them, and too forward means boosted treble, of course. But this one here, it's just enough. Like this is an earbud. You're expecting it to leak, you know. But no, it was able to retrieve those like three cymbal hits. It's crazy. Yeah, it's amazing.
Delicate sounds, very clearly defined. I was actually surprised how well defined a lot of the sounds are, considering that the main focus is that bass. You get that bass, and that's
Yep.
what you tend to latch onto. But then you notice there's a lot of little things too.
Yeah.
Just overall, the sound presentation feels very roomy. It's not like emptiness, but it's just there's a good amount of space between sounds, but
Yep.
still filling up the entire stage.
Yep.
This set really, really impressive.
It is
I think
impressive.
this is a great set on just sound alone. This Flathead shot up to like top five for me of all time, maybe even top three. Not sure about that one yet. So it goes without saying that my rec rating for this set is a three, which is, a hard yes. If this sounds
Yeah.
like something that you might be interested in, I highly recommend that you go demo it if possible,
Yeah.
and then if you like it, sure, this is budding,
It
better
is
than
it is
track
great.
sense.
And I saw Andy's review yesterday. He also talked greatly about it. Um, it's just great sounding. It really is. And I can endgame with this freaking earbud. You can watch like this is just an overall rounder. Like you can watch movies with it. Um, Probably not sports. It's not too stable with sports. Music, games, I don't know, watch videos or something. And it's easier when you're using it at home, especially when you have a wife or kids that you need to listen to while listening to music. But yeah, it's really good. And like the cable's nice, but unfortunately, earbuds are really not for everyone. A lot of people don't get a good fit with them, unfortunately. So yeah. Oh, Timmy, he's got different.
At Hillcrest Bank, we know the importance of supporting local businesses because we're not just part of the community, we're part of it.
Three new IEMs to unbox and do first impressions of today. Yes, welcome back to the classic Timmy unbox video. And yes, this is indeed the content worth waiting for.
Okay. Man, he's gonna be very busy. Timmy's gonna be very busy. Um, yeah. This week I'm also gonna post my review on the Jews Ear, Defiant. Defiant is okay for the price. Really, it's let me see what other people think. They talked about that. Tone Deaf Monk talked about it. And they talked about it. JTiz, okay.
Just here, XZ review. The shell size is pretty much the exact same as the other Just Solid set. Like this is you'll notice something when we get to the graph section we'll talk about and other people have noticed about. Well, I mean there's a few other little places. This is a little bit slightly V, like like the late base rise maybe around like 350. It does.
I really don't get it. Like, I don't know if it's just my unit but other people are getting a dip at 6K. And my unit doesn't seem to have that. And, they're telling that it sounds really good. And I would understand if it has a dip at 6K, that's that's my target in there, my neutral target. But I don't get that. I don't get a dip at 6K. So I'm not sure if I really don't know. There are different Hobby Talk doesn't seem to have a dip at 6K. Hannah has. That's a dip at 6K there. And I don't think this is probably unit variation. I mean, ATAC, he has a dip at 6K there, and it's, you know what I mean? EPLV, no dip at 6K for them. JTiz has a dip at 6K. Tone Deaf Monk, I don't think he has a dip there. Yeah. Let's see. Sound check. He has a dip at 6K. It's so pronounced. So I'm seeing variations on the Defiant. So, and I really wanna know what's causing it. A driver or. For me, it's really just. Okay, let me see here. JTiz. So he's got a dip at 6K there, and let's see if he has the butterfly. 61T. Interesting. But I'm pretty sure it's a deliberate dip in there though. Because with my butterfly, it's actually lower. And looking at JTiz, the Defiant is actually lower than his butterfly. So that means this is definitely a dip in there. I'd probably reach out to JTiz and see if there is. I don't know if it's because of the green and the rainbow. Huh. Yeah, I can see that. Oh, it's probably either both. But I don't think it's the color though, but I could be wrong. Cause so far, Paul, let me see. No, Paul, no, he doesn't have. Oh man, who has the Defiant? Happy Talk. Cause really ATAC reviews and JTiz, they have that, their unit has the dip at 6K and they're praising it. And I would understand. It's just I'm thinking the treble would be really great, stuff like that. So I want to know. I'll probably reach out to JTIS for just you just really want to know if there is unit variation in there. Um, yeah. Let
A little bit
me.
more of a 1K spike, which is normal with a lot of IEMs. So I mean, it does have some minor things which I would EQ out, but overall, this is a solid, strong IEM. Let's look at some other IEMs as competition and kind of go from there. Now, a lot of you guys have been like, "Hey, JTs, it looks exactly like your IEM." I mean, I don't know, whatever. But I didn't want to show you the 7 hertz clinical 02. Like, how close does that do to the target? Like, these two have a very similar style tonality. I mean, the 7 hertz 02 kind of drops off at a cliff right around 13K. But overall, it's a solid set, and something kind of to note that, like, sometimes good tonality, you can find the tonality you want at almost any price. A lot of it's almost becomes like expensive jewelry and what works for you. It's right through here, and that kind of killed it for me. And the Defiant does a really great job of not being too peaky and like as a kind of a relaxing, chill sort of a set. Like I would think it would be really just didn't really sound that great to me in ear, and I would go with the Z reviews above that. The only one of for me, like the Performer 7 does a really good job of kind
P7.
of having IEM after same similar problems as the Defiant, and people like it's one of my like design philosophy of Pro. I mean, the RTT10 Pro has has like all around set.
Interesting.
It has
All right. Yeah. It's I don't know. Like I want to know if there is if it's just the coupler. I don't really think. Like I'm 80% sure it's not a coupler related stuff. I feel like there is a little bit of unit variation in there, and we don't know what the actual tuning is. We just don't know. Is there a dip at 6K or is there not? So, no, I can't. Yeah. Uh, where is it? Defiant. Where is? Oh, is it? Oh, okay. It's really it's really different. I don't know. Like it's like even the past 10K, like we have dips at 10K, and for them it's just it's I don't know why. I need to figure this out. All right. Yeah, but it's even if okay, so I'm gonna review it based on how it graphs on my end. Overall, it because it follows my balance target. It's fine. It is a it is a solid set. Um, but yeah. It is okay. I mean, for $100, you can't really go wrong with it because there's. But it's really hard to say. Why do I have that peak past 10K? That is really different from how it graphs. Um, and there's a lot of variation with it too. So it's hard to say. Really, it's hard to say. I would really want to hear that unit with a 6K dip in there. Usually you see variations, or maybe is it their coupler? I don't think it's their coupler. Let me see. 61T with ATEC. A-Tech, yeah, he's also got that difference. I don't know. It could be really just a coupler. I don't know. Um, but what I think about the Defiant is just, like it's really affordable, and they're probably cutting cost in there, and they're probably using just I don't know, like not cheap but affordable BAs as well. So yeah, probably that's. I don't feel the treble is that refined, because in that price range, I'd rather pick single DDs. It's so hard to get natural sounding sets around that price range, and um, I would understand, because in order to get a better or good sounding hybrid IM around $100, it's just hard. The maker is limited to a few BAs that they can afford, and then they can have a profit on. Um, but single DDs, I mean, you can't beat how a single DD would sound, natural or something. So, yeah. I mean, I'd buy the Moondrop May, I guess. If I were to choose, that's interesting. If I were to choose between May and the Defiant, oh man, let's see. Not May, I'm sorry, Race. Race Analog and the Defiant. Uh, I think they graph. I mean, the base is almost, yeah. Hmm. Probably the Defiant is smoother overall. That's what I can say about the Defiant. It really is smoother. Um, yeah. So my takeaway would be, yeah, the Moondrop Ray. It's an amazing gaming IM if you know how to custom everything. And huh, do I need to USB for this one? Here it is. Let me just double check if I can pull up the. Alright, and am I able to adjust the volume with this one here? Nope. Uh, Oops. Alright. Yeah. I'm gonna do more tests with the race. I don't like the cable is fine. It it's fine. I do like the fit though. The fit is really good with the race. Yeah, I think that is all for today. Yeah, it's really just my impressions on the aful Polar Night. It's a really good sounding earbud. Uh, Ray is okay. Sounds good. Oh, hey, what's up? What's up, bro? How you doing there? Yeah, I was talking about the aful Polar Night. Not a lot of reviews there, but it's good. I mean, I bought this. I'm doing fine. I'm doing great. Just chilling here. Uh, so the aful Polar Night is a really good sounding earbud if you're into earbuds. If you're lucky to wear them. Right. Oh, I went to last Wednesday I went to. Yeah, it's Moondrop May. when you use an analog cable, it's probably just me. I think the selling point of this one here is the customizable EQ profile when you're playing games, because there's a web app that you can edit that. Like you choose um, which games you play, and I think it's a smart move with from Moondrop that they did that, and the ones doing that is actually just a cable, so they can just they can I don't know. It's probably just a cable. Oh, did you? Oh man, what did you get a replacement of? Like, in replace of what? I think it's decent. Yeah. $99, or is it? No, it's cheaper. Moondrop May is cheaper. The Ray is actually more expensive. Yeah, I just looked at I just compared the Moondrop May to Defiant, and like the Defiant may be smoother, but like the May is a solid pick. The fit is really nice, so I don't think you're going downhill. I mean, there are a lot of good sounding sets again, and it's when you reach around 300, it's probably right now it's probably like like the T Pro, you spend 300 bucks on a T Pro. It's probably like the max that you can spend without really getting what's that? I forgot the term. Yeah, I think it's better to wait for interesting stuff. Yeah. I'm pretty sure there'll be more coming. Like the Kiwi ears though, like was it the Lush? A lot of people are um praising the Lush. I'll probably gonna borrow some IEMs though. When I free all of this stuff here to review, the DX1. Oh man, but you like bass, but I'm a mid-centric guy. The DX1, the Spa series, that ear acoustic that you see on Facebook, like a lot of like including myself. I'm gonna post that review probably today. I'm almost done editing it, but yeah, it's big. It was. I think they changed the name. I think they were TFZ. If you're familiar with TFZ, the fragrant zither. Um, and now they are ear acoustics audio. Their DD, that DD sounds good. Meta with less energy on the 3K. Probably the Lush would be great for you though. Yeah. But yeah. So, I mean, it's hard to tune to the meta with a single DD or a planar. You really have to do hybrid for that. Um, because you need a cut and you need to elevate the mids as well to match to the meta. So I think single DDs are not able to do it. Um, but that's the thing, like um, for me, I feel like the meta is like a tuning wherein an IEM tries to sound like a headphone. Maybe it's just me. I mean, some of the meta tune sets are nice, but I just get the feel of it doesn't. Some, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Because with speakers, like there are no balance armature with speakers, right? It's always like a DD, a big DD. It's a dynamic driver, and if it's a dynamic driver, it has to uh, it has to follow physics. You know what I mean? It has to follow physics, and the physics behind when a driver rises and falls, they're not tucked. They are usually not tucked. They dip at 1K, they rise either 2 and 3K. It's the problem with the meta is they cut a lot in the 1.5K to 2K, and that breaks it for me. Um, yeah, the IF neutral gain is, yeah, I like that gain too. Not the base, but the gain is fine. HBB, yeah, HBB's target is, um, it's nice, yeah. So, I know there are a lot of IMs on release. DX1, man, it's tough competition, really, recently. But I was talking about which call. I was talking about the Defiant. I watched videos, and JTIS and ATEC reviews, they praised the Defiant really well, and I noticed that their unit has a dip at 6K. Um, and in my unit and Tone Deaf Monk's unit, our unit doesn't have a dip at 6K. And so we're thinking, I don't know, like I'm just thinking there may be a little bit of uh not imbalance, but unit variation here. There may be a little bit of unit variation in a way that, look at that, my unit graphs exactly like Tone Deaf Monks. We don't get a dip at 6K, and we get a very big dip there past 10K. And that's how mine is graphed. When you look at JTIS, JTIS, where's JTIS? He's Defiant. No big peaks past 10K, a dip at 6K. If this is the unit that you get, you're lucky. It's gonna sound good because basically this gain is my target. I am confident that this will sound good. Definitely. This is my gain. And I specifically put a dip on my target at 6K because it just reduces any unnaturalness to the treble. It's just gonna make the forward, the vocals more forward, stuff like that. And it's interesting to note though, like which color did you get? Did you get the green or the rainbow? Because I have a theory that the rainbow has a dip at 6K. I may be wrong, but the rainbow has a dip at 6K. Because that's what JTIS has, that's what ATIC Reviews has. And I think Tone Deaf Monk has the green one. I have the green one too. Oh man. Let's see. Defiant. And it's cheap, man. You can't go wrong though. Good for you. You got the rainbow. You might get that dip at 6K. This is just my theory, okay? But let me just make sure if Tone Deaf Monk did have a green one. Andy, well, he doesn't really graph. I'm pretty sure. Man, I don't know. I really have to borrow. I really have to borrow. Yeah, J, JT's unit. I want to borrow his unit. I want to make sure because I wanna. No, like even if like Hi-Fi Go or whatever, like they're sending this, I have to call it out. Like if they're doing different tunings in one IEM, it's not good practice. They have to level up their consistency. Um, in my unit, they are not bright. They're not bright, but I feel that peak in there. Past 10K, it's there. It just makes the treble unnatural, sadly. But looking at like JTIS unit with the Defiant that has it's very smooth, man. Like that treble is very smooth. And even with the butterfly, we have consistencies with this one here because the butterfly, he has butterfly, right? And he has a peak at 10K. Okay? Mine with the no, not the butterfly, the dragonfly. Mine also shows that peak with the dragonfly. So it's not really a problem with the coupler not getting peaks past 10K because his dragonfly and my dragonfly has a peak past 10K. But why is it that my Defiant and his Defiant has a relaxed treble? You know what I mean? So really, I'm a little bit disappointed, really. Um, the company shouldn't do this. They're making reviewers sound stupid, like different signatures are being sent. I'm not sure if it's deliberate or just really what like not I'm thinking it's not channel imbalance. It's probably like the BS they're using or I don't know. Exactly. The Defiant, and that's what I'm trying to say. What is the original tuning of this one here? Does it have a dip at 6K and a relaxed treble, or is it the one we're getting? It's hard to say. So there's like two tunings here running around. There's two tunings here running around. Definitely. It should be. I mean, like even with the butterfly has that little bit of peak. Like let's see A-Tech reviews. He has the butterfly too, right? And the butterfly, yeah, it has a peak there. I it's hard to say. Yep. It should be. It should be. So I don't know. Like this is a big peak for me actually. Like the past 10K, that's a big peak. Um, I mean, it's almost the level as the Dragonfly. I mean, the Dragonfly At least even if it has peaks, I'm thinking maybe they're also using better quality BA, so at least it sounds, natural. But still. So yeah, I'll probably ask Jatus if it's okay to borrow. Um, and probably Lush too, if he has the Lush. So good luck on the Defiant, bro. I really wish you get the one that has the 6K peak. You will know if it's bassy and the treble is natural. Yep, you got the one. If the treble sounds a little bit unnatural, yeah. Might you find with the T Pro? Yeah, it's almost the same. No? Almost the same, right? But the one that breaks with the Defiant is this peak at 10K. You know what I mean? Notice how the T Pro is a little bit relaxed and the Defiant is just, there's a big peak in there. Yeah. Good for you. But yeah, I mean, like the Defiant is a very good. I think it's a good start. I mean, like $100, not really a lot. Again, I explained it before. Not a lot of IEMs, especially hybrids. It's just difficult for hybrids to sound really, really good around that price range because they're limited to the transducer. We understand the companies, they also need to make profit, and usually in that price range they end up using cheaper drivers or they custom the BAs themselves. And so it's really hard, and that's why for hybrids the sweet spot for companies to get profit and for an earphone to sound good is probably around the $200 to $300, right? It's just so difficult to make hybrids below that and sounding really, really good. And that's why around the $100 price range is always dominated by single transducers like DDs, planars, because you don't really work a lot with a lot of transducers. But that's also the case. If you're only using single transducers, you're also limited with the tuning options. You can only tune it like natural or V-shaped or U-shaped. You can't really do meta. I mean, maybe you can. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, exactly. And yeah, that is true. But like if really if the intended tuning of the Defiant is what I see with JTIS and ATEC reviews, it's a solid pick. I mean, I've never heard this, like their unit, but I know. I mean, I just know that it is a solid pick. I'd rank it an S. Not my unit though, not my unit. And so like if I prove that there are really two tunings, I'd call out the company. Hey, like level up your QC and just don't rebrand because it looks like they just, I don't know, like they removed two BAs from the butterfly, shove a different filter, and call it the Defiant, if that makes sense. No, you don't do that. You don't do that. So yeah. Planars are, yeah, that's why planars usually dominate that price range, 60 to 120. Phew. Um, yeah, and probably Probably the DD and a microplanar. Probably like the May analog. I think it's doing a great job with that. I think microplanars are easier to handle than a BA. Um, that's why it works, you know. And that's why the EW 300 from SimGot, that's why it works with it. And the May, that's why it works with it. It sounds more extended. Yeah. Um, that you can, I mean, like it sounds more extended. The treble sounds more extended with a microplanar. Then probably they can achieve that with more expensive BAs, and their unit will be more expensive. So, um, but yeah, I get the point why the Moondrop May sounds good. I think Timmy, yeah, Timmy ranked it high, I think. An alternative to ESTs. It depends. It really depends. It could be. Um, there's I don't know. There's just this. Yeah. Your drip. Yeah, it can be. Yeah, exactly. It is airy. Moondrop May is airy. Yeah, I think that's it for today, man. Thank you so much for stopping by. um, yeah, probably. Yeah, next week let's talk more about it. I'm gonna contact Jatus and have his unit sent over if there's really some difference in there. But yeah, thank you so much for being here, stopping by, and for the other guys, thank you for watching. Have a great day.